Hello and welcome to CrunchTime. I'm your host, Josh Riley, and this has definitely been a pretty busy couple of weeks in the world of sports, with the Australian Open going on in tennis. We got the conference championships in football today. Go Broncos. Please, I hope you beat the crap out of the Patriots. And then, of course, we got the NBA. And I want to talk about today one of the bigger, more surprising stories in sports that happened in the NBA, and that is the head coach of the Cavaliers, David Blatt, got fired earlier this week. Completely out of the blue, no warning or signs whatsoever. And the strangest part about it is, they have not been playing bad. There's no reason really for him to be fired. So far this season, at the time of his firing, they were 30-11, which is the best record in the Eastern Conference, and also a better record than at the same point last season. And this is only his second year as coach, and last year, in his first year, they made it to the finals. And if you look at it, they would have had a much better chance of winning if they were at full strength, but they weren't. Kevin Love was injured, Kyrie Irving was injured, so LeBron James was having to do all this by himself, which is hard for any man to do. He may not seem human, but he is. And so it just seems really strange that, halfway through this season, which is also the first season that he has his team at full strength, that he would just up and get fired. And if you ask a lot of people, or, depending on what you're reading, a lot of people say that there was a lot of discord in the locker room, a lot of mistrust or, lack of respect between the players and David Blatt. But there has been many great teams and players that have had issues or butted heads with the head coaches and their star players and whatnot. And they found a way to get through it and keep winning. It looks like they did last year. I mean, what's to say that they couldn't fix their differences this year and keep the ball rolling? But it was like the front office just made this knee-jerk reaction. I don't know if it's because they didn't want to make LeBron mad or what, but to just fire Coach Blatt just doesn't make any sense. I mean, we can't all be handed the keys to a brand spanking new Ferrari like Steve Kerr did when he inherited the Warriors. I mean, yes, David Blatt does have a huge big three, but yeah, so he kind of got handed the keys to a Lamborghini, but his Lamborghini broke down. And so he needs another chance to really figure out how it works, how to drive it. And I feel like he wasn't really given that opportunity, even despite the fact that he still was showing continued success with the guys that he's having. And, I kind of look at the front office on this too. Maybe there were other avenues to explore, as far as maybe trading away different players, or maybe trying different kind of schemes or whatnot. And they just decided to just chop off the head and fire the coach. I mean, Tyrone Lue replacing him, I'm happy for him, but it just doesn't feel right that David Blatt got to act like that. And there's a lot of coaches around the league that shared that sentiment and made their opinions known. So it's definitely sad to see, and I do wish him continued success in that regard. And I'm sure another team will pick him up right away, because he definitely didn't deserve to go out like that. No coach does. I mean, if there were any coaches that deserved or were expected or wouldn't be surprising to be fired this year, I can think of two. One, Byron Scott on the Lakers. Yes, I'm a diehard Lakers fan, but I know what I see. If we're looking based on numbers and success rate, yeah, Byron Scott should be on the chopping block. And then you got the worst team in the league, in the Philadelphia 76ers. Their coach, Brett Brown, should be fired too. But you know what? He signed a contract extension. So, I mean, and they've been bad for several years. But their front office and everyone is still believing in him and hoping he can turn things around. So why doesn't David Blatt get that same opportunity? Okay. Speaking of opportunities, the All-Star starting lineups were announced earlier this week as well. And yes, Kobe Bryant did get the starting nod, which I understand the fans do vote in the players for those spots. And I'm sure everyone wants to see him one last time in his 18th All-Star game, during his swan song and farewell tour. I get that. I understand. So he'll probably play a few minutes, and then I'm sure he'll give way to the younger guys and let them play in the biggest pickup game on earth. Also, Kawhi Leonard, first time All-Star selection and starter from the Spurs, much deserved. Also an alum of San Diego State, so that's also very proud for everyone living in San Diego. And on the East side, we see Paul George having a resurgent season after his horrible leg injury, got named starter, as well as D Wade, Dwayne Wade. And of course, the rest of the usual suspects like LeBron and Carmelo and guys like that. So I'm definitely looking forward to this All-Star game. It's going to be interesting to see which reserves get selected, as that selection process is done by the coaches in the league. So that would be interesting to see who gets selected, who gets snubbed, and the debates and arguments that will result from that. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's going to be in Toronto. Drake is going to be all over that place. That probably going to see too much Drake, but it's his city. So that's about it going on in the NBA and as far as those big sports stories. Keep watching those conference games. I really hope the Broncos pull it out. They were ahead last time I checked. So, and if you have any questions or anything about the show, feel free to put them in the comments below. I will try to answer one or two of them on my next episode. So until that time, hope you enjoy today's Funny.